June 5, 2022, a dark cloud hung over the ancient town of Owo. With it came not just the normal rain, but a rain of bullets that turned the auditorium of St. Francis Catholic Church into a darker river of blood. 40 persons, including women and children, were killed. Right in this Catholic church in the heart of our town in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria, a little over a year after we returned to Owo to seek survivors and find out how they have been coping with the consequences of that deadly attack. Though a short reign of terror, it left a huge number of deaths and destruction that is not only physical, but emotionally long-lasting. She is Esther Okundalaye, 22, and a recent graduate of the Adekunle Ajasin University, a survivor of the terror attack.
Yeah, so that was where I was sitting, the second pew. Second, yes.
When you heard
the
sound of the gunshots?
Yes, consecutively, two shots followed, and before we could know it, everybody was like, they were closing the back door, this door right there. So then everybody was running helter-skelter here and there, and the sounds, the dynamite and everything
became louder.
Yes, it became louder.
The hail of bullets caused more confusion, and the only place that she and several others could think of was here, a small room that momentarily became good enough to take a large number of terrified people, mostly children, facing a brutal terror attack.
At first, I didn't even know that I was shot, because I just thought, because we were many there, you know, people were trying to hide and everything then. So I thought it was just the way I was squeezing myself, the way I bent and everything. So I noticed I couldn't move my leg. I couldn't carry my leg. I couldn't even drag myself out. But the attack took a while, at least for like 15 to 20 minutes.
Where were you hit?
Yeah.
Just right at the bottom?
Yes. And it affected the femur.
The damage to her body structure is permanent, apart from the disruption to her personal life and growth plans. She still goes for a weekly physiotherapy session after undergoing at least 3 surgeries since the incidents.
Yes, I feel pain. Anyway, I feel pain.
You're going through a physio session now?
Yes.
Okay, how often do you go for it?
Now it's every Friday, every week, because of the last surgery I just had.
It was a very heavy raining day.
Onoha Chinedu was also among the congregants on the fateful day. He was among the lucky ones that survived unhurt physically, but then the psychological trauma that he now carries is deep.
I was sitting there.
Where?
At the 4th row.
The 4th row here,
yeah.
On the extreme end.
On the extreme end, I was sitting there. I couldn't run to the altar because I thought it was the priest that they came to kidnap, because I took them for kidnappers, not terrorists. Then there was a pregnant woman seated beside me, and what she was shouting was, "Where's my husband? Where's my husband?" I had to yell at her and told her that, "Let us hide." And we entered under the chair. This was the chair I entered under. This was that place I was. So.
Okay, you moved from that end.
I moved from that
end. Because you were close to the window where probably the gunshot was coming from.
Because I was close to the window, I had to move to the center of the church.
With the pregnant woman.
With the pregnant woman. She was here. While I came here, I stood under.
That's not all of his story. Chinedu lost both of his parents to the attack.
My mom was the first I saw after the attack, and I saw that she was hit by a bullet in her arm. So we had to rush her to the hospital. Leaving my mom at the hospital, I ran to come and check up on my dad to bring him, to tell him that we are safe, that he should come to the hospital for my mom. On coming back to the church, I met my dad in a pool of blood. He was dead. And then it was so painful that I had to take him back to the same hospital so that we can tend to my mom. So on taking him to the morgue, getting there, my mom was still in pain, and the hospital told us that they were short of staff and we couldn't bear the sight of her losing more blood. We had to rush her from there, looking for the nearest hospital that can actually attend to her urgently. But on our way to a close-by hospital, she died.
At that particular time, what was running through your mind?
What was actually running through my mind was more of where do we go from here? How do we cope? Because they were still training us. They've not actually prepared us for the afterlife.
Life hasn't been the same for the likes of Chinedu, Esther, and several others affected, but they are trying hard to move on. This is how they try to bond and live past the sorrow of the attack and heal whenever they are together at the church.
Most of our church leaders have been there to support us, both in moral support and everything. Like you saw, we were outside just now. When we were playing as the youth, the CWO president came to call us that we should come and eat. That was how they've been supporting us. And then the government did their best to support us financially. Then the Catholic Church too.
Yeah, we continue to help them in our own different ways. And then we brought in some experts to visit the families, to counsel those who were grieving and traumatized. We also prayed for many of the victims.
Now a memorial park where the names of the victims of the attack are boldly inscribed on the wall from my left side down to the right side, now cohabits side by side in the same premises as the church to keep the memories of those lost in that attack alive. We move deeper into town of Owo, seeking more of the survivors, and arrive at the home of the Atas. The matriarch, Mrs. Atafolaimi Margaret, is now permanently on the wheelchair, having lost both legs to the attack.
I was in the choir gallery that day. Then from there, I ran to the altar to lie down. Some other people were just lying on top of me, so we're all there. I think that was all. So the gunshot continues, and suddenly we heard something like, "Wow!" That is sound of a dynamite.
I saw this young man running to the sanctuary side because I was very close to the sanctuary where I sat. So he was running and hung his gun by his side, running to the sanctuary. Later on, he ran back, not quite long, just some seconds after he ran back, I heard another explosion there, in front of the sanctuary, because he lit the dynamite in the middle of the church. That was the time I raised up my head and I was watching him. He ran to that place, he dropped that dynamite and ran back. So as he threw the dynamite, maybe the dynamite hit the stand of the altar there. So with fear, he runs back. As he ran back, not quite long, the dynamite exploded.
That explosion blew off his wife's legs and she did not only lose her legs, but also one of her eyes. But as a mother, Mrs. Atta's condition then didn't matter much to her as what might have happened to her 3 children who were also in church with the rest of the family.
I touched my leg, I could see that there's no leg there again. My left eye, bleeding everywhere. I don't know the person. I know that some people came to me and they said, there's no how they are going to carry me. No leg, but somebody dragged me, my hand, 2 hands. So I just closed my eyes. So I don't know, they just dragged me. Maybe they put me outside or something. Because by then I was already gone completely. So I'm presently on artificial, on this one. So it's only this one that remains.
A harrowing experience not just for the former nurse, but the entire family.
Looking for my family, I saw my mother with my 2 children. So where is the last born? Where is the mother? They said they've not seen them. I enter looking at the dead children on the floor. Now raising these children with courage. You should know, you should think of the mood that a man will be by that period. Raising a child up, whether this one is his own or not. So I look at the children there. I say, this is not the kind of clothes that my child wore in the morning. So going to another person, checking. I passed my wife and I was looking for her. She was shouting for help. I passed her. I pity her. I never knew that it was my wife.
The 46-year-old mother can't count the number of surgeries she has passed through, but she's grateful to be alive and for the care that she has got so far to make life bearable since she fell into a new physical status, though there are still challenges like her problematic prostheses and the wheelchair that is fast wearing out.
I'm still supposed to be going for physiotherapy, but due to the fact that the prosthesis, as in the artificial leg they provided, is not working well, so I've not been able to go to the clinic. So I'm supposed to be going at least maybe every week or 2 weeks, but the thing is not working well, so I can't use it because anytime I go there, it's just like as if we are doing the same thing all over. I don't know if they can do anything. This my wheelchair is, as you can see, is completely out. Then I thought maybe I'll just use this one for a while. Then when the processes is ready, I'll be able to move, not relying solely on this. But as at now, since the process is not working, so I have to depend solely on this.
We also find Gladys Chinedu, the 25-year-old newly married, who was the heavily pregnant member of the congregation when the attack occurred.
Up to now, I couldn't say how I got to manage to enter inside the chair. I was inside the chair. Yes, I was under the chair. The person at my right hand, they shot the man at his leg. So the person at my right hand, the guy died. Up to now, I couldn't say. Let me just say it's God.
Alongside her 30-year-old husband, Samuel, Gladys is glad to have survived and lived to tell the story of the horror.
Because she fainted immediately after the incident, but I thank God I was there. I was trying to fall on my front. I now rushed to grab her. Because if I was not there to grab her with that condition, I don't know what may be the next incident.
I couldn't sleep till daybreak. I was hijacking. At times I would be stable, and at times I would just. So it was after a month plus that I gave birth.
Their son came a month and few days after, and that was meant to be a permanent circle from their horrible experience. But then they discovered that their baby came with a major eye defect.
So a week after I gave birth, I discovered a whitish something on my baby eye. So I went there They now said it's due to the shock.
They referred us to FMC, Owoye. We also went to FMC here. They referred us to UCH, Ibadan. And we also went there. And they now say it's a cataract, and they can be able to do it. And we, after consulting some tests that day, they said no problem, that we can do the operation whenever we are ready.
And they told us that we must first of all deposit some amount of money before the surgery. So they said 250,000.
Samuel is a commercial motorcycle operator and Gladys a housewife. The struggling family doesn't know where the fund to correct the baby's condition will come from.
Whenever I look at my baby, whenever he's sucking breast, his eyes issue always, it only make me bad. And I always remember the incident that happened at our church.
Another survivor, 20-year-old Gloria John, was among those sitting at the back of the church when the attacker struck. From her hiding place, she got hit 3 times, yet she survived.
Where I was injuring myself under the chair, the first shot, I was shot at my hand. The second one was my buttocks, and the last one was my leg.
So you were shot 3 times?
I was shot 3 times.
She was in church with her son and mother-in-law, and luckily, the two were unhurt on the day. But then, the family lost the mother-in-law shortly after.
I don't want to even remember what happened that day at all, because that really gave me a lot of pains, a lot of sleepless nights. And after the incident happened, I lost my mother-in-law. After 3 months, my mother-in-law died on this issue. When I went for X-ray, so they asked me to, because my X-ray is 6,200. So they asked me to pay for the X-ray. I said, I am a victim for St. Francis Catholic Church. They said the free treatment has finished.
Well, I think the state government has practically terminated their support because I must give them the credit. They did incredibly well. They supported the family, they paid for the medical bills, they assisted the family not just once, not twice, about 3 times with funds, with materials, with all forms of support. So in conjunction with the church, with our limited resources, thank God for the support we got from so many places, and we have put that support into use.
There have been efforts from the government of Ondo State, the Catholic Church, and other groups to help the survivors cope with the trauma of June 5. But in reality, the incident remains an open wound that will take a long time to heal for majority of the people.
After that time, yes, after that time, if I hear sounds, at any sound, like, I'm always scared.
Whenever I'm in the church, I'm not usually at rest until we are through and I'm out of the church.
They are majorly unhappy with the handling of the investigation into the gruesome attack by the Nigerian authorities and their inability to punish those responsible almost 2 years after.
We were told that 4 people were arrested. What has become of them, we don't know. All we hear was that we don't know whether it's politically motivated or whether we're just victims of circumstance, and the government must be passionate about giving justice to those who have been killed and to the families who are asking questions, and to the church who was violated that day.
Let's assume that it's one of the senator's son or daughter that died in this incident. The way the government take this thing, they will not take it with levity hand. They will take it more serious. But because they believe that we the citizens, that we can't do anything.
The international community is looking onto Nigeria on this issue, where it will end up. But up till now, justice has never done. And I'm not surprised This is a country where justice minister died without justice. So where can we get justice?
The terror attack has not only affected human beings, it has also altered the general atmosphere in the war. But somehow, the people still look forward to a day when the truth behind the incident will be finally unraveled. Maybe then, the dark cloud will eventually clear and Owo will return to his ebullient self. Tokunbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Owo.